The patient lay on the operating table, reassured by promises of renewed strength and vitality. Beside him, John Brinkley prepared his instruments not to repair, heal, or cure, but to implant goat testicles into the man's body. It was the 1920s in Kansas, and Brinkley had become famous for a procedure as bizarre as it was fraudulent. He claimed that grafting goat glands into men would restore virility, cure impotence, and even extend life. It was quackery at its most audacious, but it made him one of the richest men in America. Brinkley's story began modestly. Born in 1885, he drifted through odd jobs before dabbling in medicine, eventually buying dubious diplomas from questionable schools. He styled himself doctor without legitimate credentials, but he had a talent for showmanship. The 1910s and 1920s, at a time when men's fears about aging, masculinity, and potency were fertile ground for exploitation, Brinkley found his golden ticket. He began surgically implanting goat testicles into men, marketing the procedure as a miracle cure for impotence. The idea was as absurd as it was grotesque. Brinkley argued that goat glands, known for their fichinity, would revitalize human bodies. Patients lined up, desperate for help, and he charged exorbitant fees. In reality, the surgeries offered no medical benefit and frequently caused infections, complications, and death. But Brinkley's genius was not in medicine, it was in marketing. He became a pioneer of radio advertising, using his own powerful station to promote his services. His broadcasts, mixing medical pitches with country music and homespun charm, reached millions of listeners across America. The results were staggering. Men traveled from across the country, lured by Brinkley's promises of restored youth and virility. His clinic in Milford, Kansas boomed, pumping money into the local economy and transforming the small town into a destination. Brinkley built hospitals, radio towers, and even ran for governor of Kansas twice, coming shockingly close to winning. His blend of charisma, quackery, and media savvy made him both a folk hero and a menace. But the cracks in his empire grew. Legitimate doctors and medical boards decried his procedures as dangerous frauds. Patients who suffered from infections, botched surgeries, or death brought lawsuits. The American Medical Association, under the fierce leadership of Dr. Maurice Fishbein, launched campaigns to expose Brinkley as a con man. Newspapers ran, calling his goat gland surgery one of the most notorious medical scams of the age. By the 1930s, Brinkley's medical license was revoked, and he fled south of the border to Mexico, where he built a massive radio station powerful enough to broadcast across the United States. His voice still sold cures, patent medicines, and quack treatments to millions, cementing him as one of the earliest masters of mass media manipulation. Yet his legal troubles mounted. Investigations, fraud charges, and malpractice suits piled up, draining his fortune. Brinkley's downfall was as dramatic as his rise. Stripped of credibility, besieged by lawsuits, and financially ruined. He died in 1942 from heart failure following a series of strokes. The empire built on goat testicles collapsed, leaving behind a legacy of ruined lives, damaged patients, and a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked medical fraud. Yet Brinkley's story remains significant for more than its grotesque procedures. He demonstrated the power of advertising, the vulnerability of the public to medical quackery, and the dangers of unregulated medicine. He was a charlatan who exploited fear and hope, building wealth and influence on lies. The goat gland cure was nonsense, but Brinkley's mastery of media foreshadowed the modern age of health fads, miracle cures, and medical misinformation. The tale of John Brinkley is a reminder that charisma can disguise cruelty, and that desperation can make people believe in the unbelievable. His goat testicle empire was not just a bizarre footnote in medical history, it was a warning that remains relevant today.